I took a buyout from USA Today and I wanted to do something different. I made a video in Osaka, just for the heck of it. And I really liked it. I liked the whole feel of it. I liked the way my pictures looked better when they were moving with moving images. I liked having music behind them. I just thought this was fun. So I decided I'd give it a try. And I'm a professional photographer as well, so I was doing a lot of events. Some of the people that were working with me, I went to them, I said, look, I got this idea for a show that I want to do. You come shoot it for me, and then whenever I give you work, there's no commission. I just hand you work, any work that comes in. And they said, fine. And so we did some shows, and that morphed into me just doing them all myself. PhotoWalks TV is a travel show where I am on a journey to see the world's most photographable places. I take people on a virtual photo walk and offer them some tips on how to get great photos on their phone. It's on YouTube, and in the fall I sold it to television and expanded it into a TV show. And so it's on as a weekly TV show on Scripps News.
What first got you interested in podcasting?
Well, it's actually a funny story. I used to work at USA Today, and we would have a team meeting every Monday, and all the reporters would get on the phone, and I and another guy would argue a lot on the call, and they would say, you guys are funny. You should do a podcast, okay? And I said, great, let's do it. 2006. He's in New Jersey, I'm in LA. We recorded 3, and they came out very nicely. And then they said, no, actually we meant video podcast, that we want a video show, not an audio podcast. And 2006, and I said, okay. How am I going to do it? They said, you'll figure it out a way. So Ed in New Jersey would tape himself, and I would tape myself, but we would have a phone call, go on speaker, we'd throw out the questions, and then we would answer it to the camera. He would get me the footage somehow, I don't remember how, and then I would edit it all together. And that was a show called Talking Tech.
And where did you post it?
It was at usatoday.com. And that did well for a while. And then I started doing a celebrity edition of the show where I would talk to celebrities about their favorite apps, their favorite gear, things like that. Then I'd come back and they'd say, make it a 3-minute at best. And I said, but I got a 45-minute interview. And they said, well, whatever. So I said, let's make a podcast out of it. Let's run the whole interview as a podcast. So I started running the whole show as a podcast, and then I did another podcast, a short version as well. But so I've been podcasting for a long time.
Very interesting story, and interesting that you got started in podcasting because you could argue with somebody else. I thought that was fun.
Yes.
What have you found is the biggest challenge of running your own podcast? And let's now talk photo walks as opposed to the past.
Okay, so Photo Walks is a video show, but I'm back to my roots. I will interview people on the show, and they'll get a soundbite in it, or 2. Why not run the whole interview? Let's string all the interviews that I did in New Orleans, in Galveston, Texas, in other places, and make an hour show out of it. So now I do that. And challenge. Getting people to listen, getting them to know it's a very crowded world out there.
So for you, the challenge is in marketing rather than in content creation.
Yeah, don't have trouble with content creation. Since I have a travel show, I know I'm going to places. So it's pretty easy. I'm going to New Orleans. I'm going to Galveston. I'm about to do Route 66. So it's a companion podcast to the video show. So coming up with ideas is not hard.
What gear do you use?
I shoot the whole show on an iPhone. Yes, I do. And the whole pitch is I'm shooting on an iPhone. I'm using the same camera that you're using at home. And I use the wireless micro from Rode. Those are the favorite mics I've ever used.
What makes them a favorite?
I will do interviews on the Wireless Pro. That was the $400 edition. And it plugs into the phone with a cable. And sometimes the cable doesn't connect. And you think it's connected, and you check it ahead of time, and it's okay. And then you're doing an interview like we're doing right now, and I'm looking someone in the eye. I don't have the luxury of checking to see that the audio meters are going, and then I come home and there's no audio.
Oh, I have had that happen. It's a terrible feeling.
Yeah, or I have audio, but the guest doesn't have audio, and it's awful. So the new one plugs directly into USB-C. There's no cable, and it's been flawless.
Well, how do you use the phone?
There's a transmitter and 2 receivers.
So the receiver goes into the phone.
and the two transmitters goes on the guest and the host.
Well, how do you pick what destination to go to?
A lot of it is where do I feel like doing? Like, when I sold the show to Scripps, I had a lot of California content because I'm based in California, and I got on a tear to try to mix things up. Let's go to some places that I haven't gone to. So that's how Galveston and New Orleans came up. Right now I'm doing Route 66 on April 20th for 3 weeks, and that's Chicago to LA. That came about because I cut a deal with Best Western to sponsor the show. And they said, how about Route 66? And I said, fine. You got hotels there? Yes, we do. Okay, great. So, and then after that, I'll be editing for 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the challenges that many media creators have, social media creators, is getting visibility. And you've closed a TV deal. How did you get that?
It was a fluke. I knew somebody at Scripps, and I'd been working with them for a year doing commentary on their newscast. But they knew what I was doing. They never at any point said to me, hey, Jeff, let's make this into a show. They never said that. I called Brian one day, and I said, I want to talk to you. Why aren't we doing a show? How about a show? And he goes, oh, that's a good idea. Why don't you cut something together and show it to me, and I'll let you know. And that was on a Friday. On Monday, he says, you're on in 2 weeks, and we're doing 6 episodes. Yeah. So, the moral of the story is, yes, I knew somebody, but you got to ask. You can't wait for them to ask you.
The other thing that fascinates me is that most of the people that are podcasting are, I want to say, slightly younger than the two of us.
Yeah. But not all. Not all.
No, I didn't say you were unique. What advice would you have for these kids that are starting out?
My recommendation is just do it, because when you were growing up and I was growing up, and I'd say, hey, I want to be on the radio. They say, very good. Thank you very much. Send me your audition tape, right? And then you'd have, well, where am I going to make an audition tape? And how am I going to do it? And what's a good audition tape to do? Can you get me a studio? The obstacles were so many, and you had to really fight to get through it. Now, just pick up your phone and record. Voice memos directly into an iPhone sounds pretty darn good. Any good app on your phone with this $150 mic that's usually on sale for $130 is even better. There are no more obstacles. Just do it. Get the experience and put it out there, and somebody is going to hear it. Somebody is going to see it.
Now, you said earlier that the biggest challenge you face is not the creation, and after listening to you, I understand that completely, but the marketing, getting people to actually watch. What is the secret there?
It's hard. It's hard. And also, I've got a lot of things that I'm juggling. So I'm doing a half-hour show every week, and that takes a lot of time. I'm doing a newsletter, and that's usually twice a week, so I have to spend 2 days on that. I'm recording the audio podcast as well, and then when it's all done, then you have to start beating that drum. Some will pop, some won't. You never know. A lot of it is topic related.
Is it just you, or do you have a team?
It's just me. I have a kid that helps me out 2 days a week. If I go to his house and I sit with him, and if he sees me, he will open up his computer and start working, and then I sit on the other side of the room and I work on my things.
Well, it's good to have a motivated team supporting you fully in your activities.
Yes. My biggest problem is getting someone who can read my mind.
How do you pick the right subject for you?
Well, I was covering technology for many years, and I used to interview you about Final Cut. I know you remember all those calls. Then I just said, okay, enough is enough. I took a buyout from USA Today, and I wanted to do something different. I made a video in Osaka, just for the heck of it, and I really liked it. I liked the whole feel of it. I liked the way my pictures looked better when they were moving with moving images. I liked having music behind them. I just thought this was fun. So I decided I'd give it a try. And I'm a professional photographer as well, so I was doing a lot of events. Some of the people that were working with me, I went to them, I said, look, I got this idea for a show that I want to do. You come shoot it for me, and then whenever I give you work, there's no commission. I just hand you work, any work that comes in. And they said, fine. And so we did some shows, and that morphed into me just doing them all myself. But that's what happened.
I want to have you take a step back, shift out of podcast mode.
Yes.
I think it's safe to say the media industry is under a lot of pressure right now. We're seeing a lot of stress in broadcast. We're seeing creators, the whole creator economy is new. How would you describe the media landscape?
Well, not great. I mean, I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what life is going to be like in 20 years, but I'm going to continue enjoying reading the paper every morning for the time that I have with it.
Yeah. If you were to summarize what you've learned in all of your years of podcasting, which I've finally done the math, it works out to 19, not 10.
19 years.
And anyway, if you summarize what you've done in all years of podcasting, what have you learned?
Learn to have a good microphone, to not pop your peas, right?
I've learned that too.
Writing a script, that definitely helps. I think it helps a lot. You're not going to do it in an interview.
You're doing word-for-word scripts or bullets?
No, I mean, I'll do word for word, and I've done bullets, but when it's bullets, I will do all those pauses. So in an interview, I would never script it. But if I was recording, like I was in New Orleans recently, and I went there on this tour, and I met this person, and I did this, I will script that out.
Why should someone watch PhotoWalks TV?
To go to places they've either enjoyed in their past or thought about going, and learn about new places to travel on, and meet some people and get the local feel of what a place is really like.
Still having fun?
I'm having a ball.